Hey guys, Jacob here, and I'm going to share my journey through advanced composition with you guys. At the beginning of the year, I thought that it was going to be easy. I thought that I would just show up, write some essays, and pass the class. I could not have been more wrong if I tried. As the year began, and we started to write stories, I realized something. I realized that I would need to put some serious work into these essays if I wanted to do good in the class. The first paper was the literacy narrative. It was a story about an experience we had with reading or writing. Just so happens I don't like to do either of those, so my experiences were very limited. I ended up writing about Greek mythology. I know, interesting, right? But it was the best that I had, and I tried my best to make it interesting. And the part that I struggled the most with this paper was my grammar errors and other conventions throughout. I just couldn't figure it out. Thus why it became my lowest scoring paper. The next paper we had to write was the rhetorical analysis. I went into this paper not knowing anything, and it didn't help that most of my peers didn't either. It was hard for me because I missed a whole week of school, meaning that I also missed out on Mr. Slater explaining the prompt. My first draft sucked. I didn't like it at all. So I read the instructions over and over again until something started to click. So I made some improvements and felt a little better about it. The thing I struggled with the most was using rhetoric that the author of the speech used in his story to influence my readers in my story. Apparently, I didn't do as bad as I thought I was going to do. I actually ended up earning the highest essay score that I had got yet. The third paper was the argumentative. I liked this one a lot. I picked a topic that I felt really strongly about, and I just went for it. I started this paper by writing my intro and my thesis statement, and I followed it up with 8 topic sentences. And then the night before the final draft was due, I reorganized my whole paper and changed almost everything because I didn't like the original one. But I feel like reorganizing the paper really made the paper stronger. And it allowed me to tie for my highest essay grade. The last paper that we had to write was the op-ed. I chose to write about Ebola on this paper because it had been all over the news. And whenever I thought about my op-ed, I thought of how short it was, and it actually started to worry me that it was going to be too short. But I said what I wanted to say, and although it was brief, I wanted it to be short and sweet. And I feel like I got my point across, and I feel like I gave my readers something to act upon. Something that really helped me was that I had a timely and relevant topic. So when I had to find evidence, it was easy, because I'm never really good at finding evidence for my papers. And although I was worried about the paper being too short or not having good evidence in my paper, I still scored higher than on my literacy narrative, so I was really happy about that. Throughout this year, I feel like as a writer, I've grown a lot, and now I feel more comfortable writing a variety of different papers, and I feel like I can structure my papers so that they make more sense and that they're more clear. And I've noticed I'm making a lot less convention errors than I used to. This makes me feel really confident about being able to successfully write the papers that I'm going to need to write in my future. And do you guys remember the first few days when we had to come up with a goal for the class? Mine was to be prepared for writing in college, and I feel like I've accomplished that. And I'm really glad that I took this class.
Created using Powtoon.